You're eating low carb, tracking carefully, and still not seeing the ketosis signs you expected. That's frustrating, and it's also common. The missing piece is often not food. It's stress and sleep. When your body feels threatened, it prioritizes survival fuel, not fat-burning efficiency. Stress hormones can raise blood sugar even if you didn't eat carbs. Poor sleep can make that effect stronger the next day. And then you wake up hungry, cravings hit harder, and your energy feels flat. Ketosis isn't just a diet switch. It's a metabolic state that depends on your hormones, your nervous system, and your recovery. So if you're doing everything right with carbs, but ketosis feels out of reach, this is the lens that usually explains it. We'll connect the dots between cortisol, glucose output, insulin, and why your liver may keep making fuel that blocks ketone production. Then we'll finish with practical ways to remove the roadblocks without extreme measures. Moving to slide 2. First, let's define what has to happen for ketosis. Your liver makes ketones when insulin is low enough and when it has access to fatty acids. Insulin is the main anti-ketone signal. Even small insulin bumps can slow ketone production for hours. That's why carbs matter, but it's not only carbs. Protein can raise insulin a bit too, especially in large doses. And your own liver can release glucose into the bloodstream, even if you ate almost none. That liver glucose output is normal. It keeps your brain and red blood cells supplied. The key is what controls it. Stress hormones and sleep loss can push the liver to release more glucose than you expect. That extra glucose can nudge insulin up. And once insulin rises, your body gets the message that it doesn't need to make many ketones right now. So the goal is not zero insulin. It's low, stable insulin with good recovery signals. Moving to slide 3. Now let's talk about stress in a way that actually matters for ketosis. Stress is not just a feeling. It's a biological state where your body prepares to act. The main players are cortisol and adrenaline. Adrenaline is the fast alarm. Cortisol is the slower, longer wave. Together they make more fuel available in your blood. That fuel can come from stored glycogen or from new glucose your liver creates through a process called gluconeogenesis. This is useful if you need to run, fight, or stay alert. But if the stress is psychological, constant, or paired with poor sleep, you can end up with repeated glucose releases that you didn't earn with movement. Your blood sugar rises a bit. Your pancreas responds with insulin, and insulin tells your fat cells to hold back on releasing fatty acids. Less fatty acid flow to the liver means fewer ketones. So stress can block ketosis without a single extra gram of carbs. It's a fuel management response, not a willpower issue. Moving to slide 4. Here's a crucial detail. Cortisol doesn't just raise glucose, it changes priorities. It makes your body more insulin resistant for a while, meaning your cells don't respond to insulin as effectively. That can be helpful short term because it keeps glucose available for the brain under pressure. But in real life, it can mean higher insulin levels are needed to manage the same glucose load. So you can have this double hit, more glucose released plus less sensitivity to insulin. The result is a bigger insulin signal than you'd expect from your food log. And insulin is the brake on ketone production. Another layer is that cortisol tends to be higher in the morning naturally. If you're also stressed, your morning cortisol can be exaggerated. That's one reason some people measure lower ketones in the morning and higher later in the day. It doesn't automatically mean you failed. It can just be your hormonal rhythm. The takeaway is simple. If cortisol stays elevated too long, ketosis becomes harder to maintain consistently. Moving to slide 5. Sleep is where this gets really practical. Even one short night can reduce insulin sensitivity the next day. Studies consistently show that sleep restriction shifts glucose control in a worse direction. That means your normal meals create a higher glucose and insulin response than they would after good sleep. And it's not only about total hours. Fragmented sleep matters too. If you wake up repeatedly, your nervous system keeps getting little stress bursts. That can keep cortisol higher overnight, when it should be low. Poor sleep also changes appetite hormones. Ghrelin, which drives hunger, tends to rise. Leptin, which signals fullness, can drop. So you wake up hungrier and less satisfied by food. Then low carb becomes harder, not because you're weak, but because your biology is pushing you. And even if you stay low carb, the insulin resistance effect can still blunt ketone production. So when ketosis stalls, sleep is often the first lever to check, before cutting carbs even further. Moving to slide 6. Let's connect the dots with a simple chain reaction. Poor sleep makes cortisol and sympathetic nervous system activity higher. That makes your liver more willing to put glucose into the blood. Your muscles and liver also become less insulin sensitive, so your pancreas needs to release more insulin to keep glucose in range. Higher insulin reduces lipolysis, which is the release of fatty acids from fat tissue. With fewer fatty acids arriving at the liver, ketone production drops. At the same time, your brain feels the energy mismatch and starts pushing you toward quick fuel. That shows up as cravings, snacking thoughts, and a shorter fuse. This is why people can be perfect at dinner and still wake up with low ketones. The night was the problem, not the meal. The fix is rarely to slash carbs to near zero. The fix is to reduce the signals that tell your body it's under threat. When sleep improves, insulin sensitivity improves, and ketosis often becomes easier with the same macros. Moving to slide 7. Another sneaky blocker is overtraining or under-recovering. Hard training is a stressor, even though it's a healthy one in the right dose. Intense workouts raise adrenaline and cortisol. They also increase glucose output to fuel the effort. After training, many people see temporarily higher blood sugar, especially after heavy lifting or high-intensity intervals. That doesn't mean exercise is bad for ketosis. It means timing and recovery matter. If you stack intense sessions on top of poor sleep, your body can stay in a need fuel now mode. In that state, your liver is more likely to prioritize glucose availability over ketone production. Also, if you're dieting aggressively while training hard, your body may read that as combined stress. That can raise cortisol further and make sleep worse. The practical takeaway is to match training intensity to your sleep quality. On rough sleep weeks, more walking, zone 2 cardio, and strength training with longer rests can support ketosis better than constant all-out sessions.
Moving to slide 8. Let's talk about measurement because it can create stress by itself. Ketone readings vary by time of day, hydration, recent exercise, and how adapted you are. Urine strips often show higher ketones early on, then lower later, because your body gets better at using ketones and wasting less. Blood ketones are more direct, but still fluctuate. Breath meters reflect acetone and can lag behind changes. If you're stressed and sleeping poorly, you might chase numbers by cutting calories harder, fasting longer, or adding extra cardio. That can backfire by increasing cortisol even more. A better approach is to look for trends and symptoms. Are cravings improving? Is energy steadier? Is hunger more manageable? Is waist measurement changing over weeks? Those are often better indicators than a single morning ketone value. If you do measure, keep the conditions consistent. Same time, similar activity, similar hydration. The goal is feedback, not pressure, because pressure itself can become the thing that blocks ketosis. Moving to slide 9, now for the practical part. Lowering stress signals without turning your life upside down. Start with the fastest lever, downshifting your nervous system. A simple breathing pattern can help. Slow inhales, longer exhales for 2 to 5 minutes. Longer exhales tend to activate the parasympathetic rest and digest side. Another lever is light exposure. Bright light early in your day supports a stronger circadian rhythm, which helps cortisol peak and then fall when it should. Movement also matters, but think gentle. A 10 to 20-minute walk after meals can lower the glucose spike and reduce how much insulin is needed. Caffeine timing is another big one. If caffeine is late enough to reduce sleep depth, it can indirectly block ketosis the next day. None of this is about perfection. It's about reducing the background stress load so your body feels safe enough to run on stored fuel. When that happens, ketosis often becomes the default again. Moving to slide 10. Sleep improvement doesn't have to be complicated, but it does need consistency. First, protect your sleep window. A regular wake time is usually more powerful than a perfect bedtime. Second, reduce light and stimulation close to bed. Bright light at night can delay melatonin, which shifts your body clock later. Third, keep your bedroom cool and dark. Temperature drops help the body transition into deeper sleep. Fourth, watch alcohol. Even if it helps you fall asleep, studies show it can fragment sleep and reduce deep sleep for many people. Fifth, consider your last meal timing. Some people sleep better with a small, earlier dinner. Others do fine later. The key is to avoid going to bed overly full or overly hungry, because both can raise wake-ups. If you're doing keto, electrolytes can matter too. Low sodium or magnesium intake can contribute to restlessness for some people. Better sleep won't just help ketosis. It often improves appetite control and training recovery at the same time. Moving to slide 11, let's cover food strategy, because stress and sleep can change what low carb needs to look like. If you're stressed, very low calories can raise cortisol further. So a common fix is not fewer carbs. It's enough total energy and enough protein to recover. Protein is essential, but extremely large protein meals can raise insulin and lower ketones temporarily. Many people do better spreading protein across 2 or 3 meals. Fat intake matters too. If you're too low fat and too low carb at the same time, you may feel wired and tired, and sleep can suffer. Another helpful lever is meal timing. If late eating disrupts your sleep, try moving dinner earlier and keeping it simpler. Also consider hidden carbs and keto snacks that add up. But don't ignore the big picture. If your sleep is poor, your carb tolerance is temporarily lower. Fix sleep and stress first, and you often regain flexibility without tightening your diet to extremes. Moving to slide 12. There's also a mental trap, turning keto into a constant test you can fail. That mindset creates pressure, and pressure is stress. A better frame is to treat ketosis like a signal of overall metabolic conditions. If ketones are low, ask what signal might be louder than your diet. Was sleep short? Was work intense? Did you add extra training? Did you fast aggressively? Did you drink more caffeine? Then pick one lever to adjust for a week, not 5 levers at once. This is how you get clean feedback. Also remember that being in ketosis is not the only goal. Many benefits people want, appetite control, stable energy, better body composition, can happen with lower carb eating, even if ketones aren't high every hour of the day. So aim for consistency, not perfection. When you build a calmer routine, your body usually stops fighting you, and ketosis becomes easier to access without forcing it. Moving to slide 13. Let's finish with a simple action plan you can actually follow. Step 1. For the next 7 nights, prioritize a consistent wake time and a dark, cool room. Step 2. Add a short decompression routine before bed. 2 minutes of slow breathing is enough to start. Step 3. Keep training, but cap the truly intense sessions if sleep is poor. Step 4. Keep carbs low, but don't stack low carb with aggressive undereating. Step 5. Use measurement wisely. If numbers stress you out, take a break and track sleep and hunger instead. If you do measure ketones, do it consistently and look for trends. Most importantly, remember what's happening. Your body is choosing the fuel that matches the signals it receives. When the signals say safe and recovered, fat burning and ketone production become much easier. If this helped, click the button to subscribe for more clear, practical explanations, and comment with A or B, which blocks you more, stress or sleep. Ketosis is a tool. Metabolic flexibility is the goal.